Peace and high frequencies, everybody. I'm gonna give a synopsis of what I can remember from the dream realm last night, which is extremely vivid on what happened. I shared a brief post in the community tab about it, but I wanted to go into more detail to share with you all a part of my Dream Oracle community, because I know we share similar connections in the astral plane. And what is being shared is things that I do believe may be coming out right now with all of these different trials of pedophilia that's going on, especially with the Diddy case, that I'm not acquainted with everything that's going on. I haven't been following it, but I hear different things here and there. So just to get into it, the dream last night, I was traveling out of town, going somewhere, can't remember exactly where, but I was meeting up with some family members, and one of my family members was invited to like a ML, multi-level market. For those who don't know what MLM is, it's a multi-level marketing, things very similar to those who do kind of like back in the day they did Avon, now they do Herbalife, and then all the little health products, and you move up based on who you sell to. Juice Plus does it, all of that. So they were having a meeting in regards to a multi-leveling marketing event, and how to join in the group. I really didn't know what it was about, but my family member ended up spilling the tea and telling me like, hey, this group is really all about how we abduct children. And it's a lot of money and it's lucrative. So they've created a group, and they go from place to place, traveling out of town, abducting children. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, first thing in my mind was like, damn, I really didn't want to know this. And then I knew about it, and then it was shared with me. The child that I thought was hers was actually an abducted child, and I got to go in. This is where it switched. It kind of flipped from me being at this meeting to me having a third eye view of this little girl being locked up at the house while she was at this meeting. And so she was trying to rush back to the house to the little girl to make sure that she didn't run away, because she had locked her up, but she had, had food out for her, things for her to do, but she wasn't sure if she was going to try to run away. So I go in having this third eye view of the little girl in the house, and I see her like doing, in front of the TV, doing a workout and dancing or something in front of the TV. And then she gets there. Now, I don't know if this is a family member or whomever, but this lady gets there. And this is still in the dream, in the astral plane. The lady gets there. She talks to her. She sees that, she's still at home. Everything was still locked down. She hadn't tried to escape or run away. The little girl shares that, she did exactly as she was told of what she told her to do. And she was like, okay, good. But she, it was like the lady was still kind of frantic because she didn't, she had to go to this meeting, but she also had to leave the little girl. So anyway, word gets out. Somebody shared it was on the news, and it was shared what was going on, and that these children had been abducted, and where these children actually were, a particular part of town somewhere in this city. So all these parents end up traveling to this place to get their children back. So they was traveling to get their children back. Very similar, if you all have seen the series, gosh, why does everything escaping me today? But it'll come. The Handmaid's Tale. There we go. If you all seen The Handmaid's Tale, very similar to that, where the children were abducted. They was made to believe that was their family, really wasn't. Very similar to that storyline. However, they were making money off these children some type of way with the multi-leveling marketing group that these people had created to abduct these children. Right. So stick with me on this part. So the parents had got word of, everything got out. I guess the government had shared. I remember seeing it on the news. They had shared where these children were. And the parents were going to get their children. Now, this particular girl, I was able to go back in the astral realm, crossing time. It's an illusion anyway. But I was able to see where this little girl was captured when she was little, y'all. And that she really didn't even know who her original parents were. So she didn't even know to really reach out, and her parents didn't even know where she was. She had been like barricaded and locked down in this house for so long that it was what it was, and she didn't even want to leave. Like, it got to a point where she didn't even want to leave because she thought this lady really was her mom. She didn't know any difference. So it was some more parts to the dream that's escaping me at this point, but that's the majority of what I wanted to share, of what was given to me about the abduction of children, which we know is going on, is real. Like, it's beyond pedophilia. Like, people are really making money off of it. Now, why was I sent into this part of the world where this is going on to actually see this? Why was I given, I wouldn't even call it a gift, but why was I given access, should I say, to see this actually going on? Mainly to share this message. This was the message that came to me. People, watch your children. Now, in the dream, I saw where the little girl had got abducted. The little girl had got abducted because her mother was telling her to, go get something, and she was leaving her by herself. She was telling her to go pick up something in this big old crowd of people and to come back. So she let this little girl go off and do these things by herself, and that's how she was able to get abducted. Now, here, switching planes. Now, that's the dream state, astral plane, right? Here, this state, this physical realm here, this dream state right now, right before I started this video, probably about 2 or 3 minutes ago, I had to go in UPS to return something I got from Amazon. I go in there, it's this long line, a lot of people. Lady is in there with her daughter. She tells her daughter to stand in line for her while she goes to the car to get something. Little girl makes it out to me to look like she's probably about 7 years old. She could be 8. She was just a tiny little girl. Same little girl features and look that I saw in the dream space. Looked just like it was a Caucasian girl, brown hair. She may not have been Caucasian. She may have been Hispanic or Italian, not sure, because her mother, I remember she came back in, they were speaking in a different language. So I know they weren't Caucasian. But the little girl had to be about 7 or 8. And she left her sitting there, and my whole thought was like, if this was like the scenario, this was like the situation where somebody really could come get this little girl and abduct her. So the message is, you all, and you never know who is around you. There was always a saying, and I don't know if it's in the Bible, I think it is biblical scripture, that we are entertaining angels unaware. We are also entertaining demons unaware. We're also entertaining legions of demons unaware. We're entertaining, and the word entertaining, not saying that we are like having a table and a festive event for them, but entertaining, saying that they are in our midst. They walk among us. They are among us, we engage with them. We may have conversation. We may stand in line at a grocery store with these people. We don't know. Batteries get low. We don't know. So with that being said, don't be so trustworthy with everybody with your children, okay? My son is 23 years old today on the 23rd of November 2024, so I don't have to worry about that because I don't have any babies. But those of you all who have children, even if your children are teenagers, they're not adults. They don't have the mindset. They say your mind isn't fully developed until you're 28. So until they're an adult, over 18, really, because these entities want these young children, these younger babies. The younger they can get them, the better. Mainly when they're 15 and over, you know, not that much. But these elementary babies, these preschools, these infants, all of that, you all be careful. Don't leave your 8-year-old to watch your 3-month-old baby. Don't leave your children or send your children. We don't live in a time where we can say, hey, go in the store and go pick this up. I remember, and I'm 44 years old. I remember when I was about 10 or 11, somewhere in there. I hadn't even quite hit puberty yet. My mom sent me an Ike's. Ike's used to be like this little store, very similar to, it's kind of like a Ike's now. It wasn't like a Five Below, but it was similar to like a drugstore as well. So it was like a Walgreens mixed with like a Target or something, but everything was really inexpensive. So she sent me an Ike's to go get a case of cola or something. And I remember this man, this older gentleman, looking at me, and then he said, oh, you look good, can I get your number? And he was looking at my body. And I didn't understand it. I was like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I was getting raped. Even though he didn't touch me, he didn't do anything. As a child, and you not knowing, you haven't been put in that position where a man is looking at you like that, you know, it felt weird. And he was an older man, especially to me, and I'm like 10, you know what I'm saying, like 10 or 11. Like, this grown man is telling me how I look good, you a pedophile. So you all watch out for your children. And mind you, this was in the 90s when it happened to me. So we know here in 2024, ain't no telling what these people are doing with these children and how they have access to them, especially with social media. So don't leave your children by themselves. Don't send them in to go anywhere by themselves and grab you this and this at the store. We don't live in that time anymore. These groups of pedophiles, even though they're being exposed so you can also be aware. And don't just think it's happening in, you know, the elite groups. You know, it's people, and this was the thing about it that I saw in the dream, is that the people look just like me. They were people of color. They was regular working class people, but they was doing it for money. Or some of them were doing it because they ain't have no children. They wanted children. Like, it was whatever their reasons were. They look just like you and I, regular looking people who, you know, pay their taxes or whatever and work a regular job and live a regular life. But they wanted to make this additional income from child abduction. It was like a market for it, and they had created a MLM group for it, and they were making money. They was traveling around towns and just seeing people slipping and getting their babies. So y'all be careful. Watch out for your children. Watch out for your babies. That was a message from the astral plane that allowed me to see it. So I was given access to give you all that message. All right. So as always, I'll leave you all in peace and high frequencies.